Well, we brought together two of our Turning Point Syria experts for their analysis tonight. Janice Stein is in Toronto and Saeed Khan is in Detroit. You know, one of the issues that the president tried to make tonight was why this problem in Syria poses a national security threat to the United States. He knows that that's on the minds of a lot of Americans. Tell me, try to convince me on that. Here's what he said in the speech, and I'll get your thoughts in a moment. Here it is.
If we fail to act, the Assad regime will see no reason to stop using chemical weapons. As the ban against these weapons erodes, other tyrants will have no reason to think twice about acquiring poison gas and using them. Over time, our troops would again face the prospect of chemical warfare on the battlefield. And it could be easier for terrorist organizations to obtain these weapons and to use them to attack civilians. If fighting spills beyond Syria's borders, these weapons could threaten allies like Turkey, Jordan, and Israel. And a failure to stand against the use of chemical weapons would weaken prohibitions against other weapons of mass destruction and embolden Assad's ally, Iran, which must decide whether to ignore international law by building a nuclear weapon or to take a more peaceful path. This is not a world we should accept. This is what's at stake.
This is what's at stake. Janice, did he make the argument on that point?
I really think he did make a good case, Peter. You just showed us the clip in which he explained directly to Americans and took it home to them about why this should matter. And he did something else in the speech, and so different from the kind of speech that George Bush would give. He explained to Americans that although this was in their interest, here's what he would not do. This wasn't a slippery slope. There would not be escalation. This was not regime change. So he did two crucial things. He told them why it should matter to them, and then he really tried hard to allay their fears.
Saeed?
Well, I think, Peter, the speech showed how complicated it really is, and I think that the president unfortunately failed to make a coherent or a compelling argument that this is a national security interest for the United States. By his own admission in the speech, he said that this was not a direct or even an imminent threat to the United States. So it really provided a contradiction for the public, that whom he was trying to persuade for some kind of intervention there, that this really was then a national security priority for the American people.
Now, one of the other areas that we haven't discussed tonight, but we've talked about this, we talked about it last week, the impact this has on other major players in the Middle East. Some would say the major players, even on this story, like Iran, Saudi Arabia, Israel. This speech tonight, how's it going to play in Iran, Saudi Arabia, and Israel? Saeed, you start us.
Well, I'm not sure if the president was briefed before he went on the air, but President Rouhani of Iran declared that his desire is to restart nuclear talks in New York, perhaps as early as next week when he comes to the city for the opening of the United Nations General Assembly. So clearly it seems as though Iran is following with the example that has been set by Russia and to a certain degree Syria of seeking a diplomatic and a political solution. Whether that is something that will then come within a more comprehensive regional priority for American foreign policy is an open question.
Well, if all that happened, you'd have to declare that an upside.
You sure would.
Sure.
Your thoughts, Janice?
Yeah, I think that's where the president was right, Peter. This has repercussions far beyond Syria. So on the issue of Iran, to the extent this succeeds with Syria, a diplomatic initiative which really did begin between the two presidents, Putin and Obama, pulling chairs aside at St. Petersburg and talking directly for 20 minutes. To the extent this succeeds, it makes it easier and more credible for the United States to reach some sort of deal with Iran on nuclear weapons. And that was implicitly what the president was arguing tonight. For Saudi Arabia, this is a disappointment. The Saudis have been pushing Obama very hard, and that's because they're giving priority to Syria, not to the chemical weapons issue. For Israel, that actually has stood on the sidelines until Obama urged them otherwise in the last 36 hours. This is likely a disappointment as well, because their interest is in breaking up that Iran-Syrian axis.
All right, we're going to leave it at that for tonight. Thanks again to both of you, Janice Stein, Saeed Khan.